Tonight we have all the way from Managua, Nicaragua, Griguita, Sambula, Bratigam. Quémote, ¿ah? Qué rico. Quémote, ¿ah? Okay, familia, this is Garifuna Music on Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live and direct from the studios in Long Beach, California. And tonight we have a very special guest. But before I introduce our guest, I want to play the radio introduction for the radio show. Quémote, ¿ah? Welcome to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga, the home of the classic Garifuna music. This is a weekly radio show online through www.lmbroots.com in the Bronx, New York, and www.radiocentroamerica.com in Los Angeles. We are live every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. We bring to you special guests from throughout the diaspora, from musicians, authors, artists, to scholars and newsmakers. So tune in every week for another community acclaimed show. Yes! Find us on Facebook as Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga, Gafu Norales on Twitter, and Garifuna Heritage Foundation on Google Circles and Instagram. Follow me on Facebook as Ronnie Figueroa. Welcome to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. Quémote, ¿ah? Ajá. Nice. Alright, familia, bienvenidos esta noche. Good night, Buiticuño, bienvenidos. Así es de que tenemos a alguien muy especial. We have somebody very special tonight, all the way from the Garifuna territory of Nicaragua. A lot of people did not know that Nicaragua has Garifuna. Nicaragua has 6 different communities, more than Guatemala. How is that? That is crazy. Man, Guatemala only has like 2 or 3. We're talking about Livingston, Puerto Barrios, and Chehuecha. And when we say Nicaragua, we're talking about 6 different communities. We're talking about Orinoco. We're talking about Bluefields. We're talking about, I even forget. But we're going to talk to the right person who's going to teach us about Garifuna from Nicaragua tonight. Her name is Griguita Sambula Bratigam. Bienvenida esta noche. Welcome tonight, Griguita. How are you tonight?
Good evening, Ronnie. I am doing very good, thanks. And how about you?
I am doing great. I am very excited. I am very well. I am relieved from what happened last night. Last night, we were all excited. You were nervous about coming on the show. And then all of a sudden, we find that this radio program could not be put on the air because of my new equipment. The new equipment that we are using today was not ready for this big of a show with such a person like you. So welcome tonight, and we're ready to come on and give it all to the beautiful people of the Garifuna diaspora.
Wonderful.
So how is the weather? How is the weather in Nicaragua, in Managua right now?
Well, Ronnie, normally here in Managua, it's always hot. Always hot. We have like 4 months haven't got rain here in Managua. It's always hot. So I'm okay right now with the weather. Okay.
Okay. Beautiful.
I'm used to it now.
Okay. So we have been reading a lot of comments on social media, especially on Facebook, about the culture. the fact that the Garifuna people in Nicaragua had abandoned their traditions, the language, the culture, and now there is a rebirth. There is the need, the desire, the hunger to bring back the culture to Nicaragua. So before we get into the questions, let's talk about that a little bit. What do you think about that?
About bringing back the culture, the
Yes.
language, and all of that. Right now, I do believe that everybody is going through a hunger. Everybody is hungry right now, especially for the language. You know, we have kept the dance, the food, the way of living, but the language is almost gone. And that's what everybody is excited about, wishing that someday we will have the opportunity to learn our language back. Because that's what identifies us as Garinagu here in Nicaragua, you know, and it has been gone for some time now. So we're in the moment, you know, when you're thirsty for a glass of water and the sun is hot. Like here in Managua, and somebody bring you a cold glass of water. You know how that feels? Really good. That's what we're going through right now here in Nicaragua for our language.
Wow, that is amazing. Yes, I understand because even the people in Yurume, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, are asking for the Garifuna culture to be brought back. Of course, with all the politics, dirty politics that are going on in St. Vincent, it is hard to really concentrate on the culture at this point. But once things calm down after this election that just took place, you know, hopefully people will start thinking about bringing the Garifuna culture back to St. Vincent. So, but it's about Nicaragua tonight. It's about the beautiful country of Nicaragua. It has a vast land, beautiful lakes, um, two beautiful, oceans. You have the Pacific and you have the Atlantic Ocean, and then you have the Caribbean side that you share with all of the beautiful Caribbean people right next to you. You have Corn Islands. You have all kinds of things. So I wish one day I could go and travel to Nicaragua, but I will have to call you so you could be my my guide, my tourist guide. How's that?
That would be wonderful, you know. That would be wonderful. It would be an honor for me to do that. So whenever you get ready, give me a shout. I'll be waiting.
Beautiful, beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Garifuna Music on Top with DJ Labuga. We are live on www.lmbroots.com radio in the Boogie Down Bronx, in www.radiocentroamerica.com in Los Angeles every Wednesday. But tonight, Thursday, we're only broadcasting on LMB Roots because it's a special rescheduled show given the fact that we had technical difficulties last night and we could not do this interview with this wonderful lady by the name of Brigitta Sambula Bratigam. Okay, so let's get right into. You know what? No, before we get into the questions, recently you received the visit. Actually, you came to Honduras and you met up with Roy Cayetano, Fermin Arzu, and many other leaders in the Garifuna diaspora who came to, I think it was Santa Fe. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, that was a trip in December to San Antonio, Colón.
Mm-hmm.
I was invited by Milton Harry, the president of the Congreso Juvenil in Honduras. So he asked me to take some young people with me, like 5 of them. Well, as I started giving out the invitation, everybody was really excited about it. At the end, I was getting calls like, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. I was like, Harry, this is what's happening right now. And he was like, really? I said, yeah. But guess what? I'm going to make it for sure. So, Ronnie, I remember I asked for permission from my work. They said, we can give you the 28th of December, but not the 27th. I was like, really? They say, yeah. I said, okay, very good. So I already had a plan in my head what I'm going to do because my day off was Saturday. you know. And I said, I'm going to travel this Sunday. If it's me alone going, I'm alone going because it is a commitment, you know. And I travel all the way to Honduras all by myself. It was a wonderful experience. I've learned a lot. I was able to interact with other people for the first time. And you know what? It was amazing. I enjoyed it, and I really want to go back. I really want to go back. But not alone this time. I want to take somebody else with me.
Yes, very nice. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
So
it was a
you
very
had the
good experience.
opportunity, you had the opportunity to meet with Roy Cayetano. Tell us about that.
Roy Cayetano, he was here in Nicaragua. That was from November. He came to give a class on spirituality. Him and Mama Arzu, she's from Belize likewise. They were here in November. In Honduras, I got to meet Ruben Reyes. Yeah, I have the privilege to meet him, and that was amazing. You know, it was amazing. I was like, Ruben, this is the same Ruben I see on Facebook. It was very good. Roy was here giving the spirituality class to all the different Caribbean communities. That was in November month.
Wow, that is nice. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. And well, you know, we posted, when I say we, I'm speaking on behalf of the Garifuna American Heritage Foundation United, GAFU. This is the nonprofit organization that is run by Ms. Cheryl Norales, my wife. And of course, we have announced that the Clifford J. Palacio Garifuna Language and Culture Academy will be broadcasting the Garifuna language classes online. So now learning Garifuna will be a lot easier and at your fingertips thanks to the GAFU, a new approach of the Garifuna Language and Culture Academy online. So there will be a class on Garifuna language and grammar. There will be not a class, there will be a session on Garifuna language and grammar for 8 weeks, and then we're gonna move on to another 8 weeks of Garifuna spirituality and Garifuna duo, the Garifuna way of living, right? And then another 8 weeks, another session of the drumming and dance and culture. And then at the end, we're gonna do one about Garifuna history, or it could be Garifuna history on the third session. But it's gonna be all radio programs, and they will be archived on GAFU channel on YouTube. And in case people are not able to listen to the lessons live, you know, you could always go on GAFU channel on YouTube and then click on play, and you will be able to listen to the lessons online on demand. So it's going to be a great thing. And this is good for Nicaraguan people as well, because you will be able to learn Garifuna along with all of us. How do you like that idea?
I think that's a very, very bright idea, you know. Well, I will be one on the line, that's for sure. In Orinoco, Ronnie and the rest of audience out there, good evening to you all too. The people in Orinoco, they do not have access, you know, to internet and all of that. Well, we just basically get signals down in Orinoco. And you heard about the Claro comment on Facebook, right?
Yes.
It's there in the community, but it's really weak. The service is really weak. So from Bluefield or from Pearl Laguna, where they will be listening to this, because I will give out some information about this session online to people who are really interested. Even those who are not interested, they got to be interested in this, because this is online, it's available. And you know, we need to restore back what we call our language, our identity. So I think it's a very bright idea, and thanks to GAFU, you know, thanks to you all in advance.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, listen up, especially for you people from Claro. Claro, we're talking about the telephone company, the cell phone company called Claro, Claro. You and those people who are listening right now, please make sure that the service gets better, because the people deserve to get the best of the service if they are paying the bill. So even for the companies that are competing there in the market, if Tigo is listening, the representative from Tigo, hey, there is an opportunity for competition then, and try to provide better services for the people in the Orinoco and Bluefields area. So, hey, this is the opportunity. People want to get better internet reception through their cell phones, and not only for cell phones, also for their home, so they're able to get educated online, and be able to have an access and a window to the world. Okay, after all that talk, let's get back to the point. Ladies and gentlemen, we have tonight on the line Ms. Grigita Sambula Bratigam. She is an example of a Garifuna woman born in Nicaragua who is hungry to learn the language. Now, this is my first question for you, Grigita. You were born in the Garifuna territory of Orinoco, Nicaragua, Central America. Can you share with us a little bit about your birthplace and what it was like to grow up in that area?
Okay, Ronnie, thank you. So, Orinoco is located on the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua. We have an amount of like 2,500 people approximately lives in Orinoco. It's a very small town, very nice people, kind, loving, and all of that. I was raised in Orinoco all of my life until I turned 18. Living in Orinoco for me, it was always a good thing because that was the only place I know. And that's the only place I know, then I cannot compare it to nowhere else. And nowhere else can compare to Orinoco, even though now I get to learn more. I was always treated like somebody special, and I am special. So that made me feel really welcome in my community by the society. I remember since I was 5, I started involved in the community. Since I was 5 years, I started getting involved in the community. I was like doing recitation, reciting over the place and singing over the place. Normally they used to use me when we have visiting friends in the community from different organizations. I would go to say a poem or to sing a song. As I continued to grow up older, I started like giving words of welcome. So since then I'm involved in the community. Orinoco is a place where everybody lives from farming and fishing. Some people have family out in the U.S., North America, Cayman Islands. Some people are in Belize, all over the place, migrate for a better life.
Wow.
Orinoco has from preschool to secondary, so I completed all my stuff over there. And it's not much job in Orinoco, Ronnie. Only teaching. And well, if you're involved in the community, well, you're there doing volunteer work. Not much job to offer to the people. So we have other small communities other than the Orinoco, Garifuna communities. They would send the children to Orinoco to study likewise, to get their education. Because even though it's a small village, it's still the largest Garifuna community here in Nicaragua. We are not including Bluefields because Bluefields is the biggest city, and we have a lot of Garifuna that migrate from Orinoco and from the different Garifuna communities. So I think that's about Orinoco right now.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Ronnie.
Thank you for that information. Very interesting. Very nice. So, so Orinoco has the largest Garifuna community in Nicaragua. Now, can you tell us, if you remember, out of the 6 communities that are Garifuna, that have Garifuna people, can you name each one of the 6 if you know it? Please.
Sure. Okay, so we're going to start from Brongbank. Brongbank is like 15 minutes away from Her Lagoon. So we have Brongbank, we have La Fe, we have San Vicente or St. Vincent, small little community. Then we have Orinoco, Justo Point, and Marshall Point. Okay? Even though we have a large population of Garinagu in Bluefield, well, still Bluefield is not counted as a Garifuna community but it's a really mix, a big mix. So a lot of people migrate over there, but it is not counted yet as a Garifuna community.
Wow. Thank you for that update. Very nice. So again, can you name those communities again one more time? I'm taking notes,
Sure,
please.
sure. We have brown like the color brown, bank
Hmm.
like bank. Okay,
Okay.
so brown bank. We have La Fe, the home of faith, La Fe. Then we have San Vicente or Saint Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
We have Orinoco,
Mm-hmm.
my beautiful community. Then we
Kemotia.
have Hoots Point,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have Marshall Point.
Wow. Thank you for that, Grigita. Wow. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live with Grigita Sambula, all the way from from Managua, Nicaragua, in Central America. She's one of us, one of Garifuna, proud members of the community, of course, and someone who is educating us about the Garifuna people in Nicaragua. My next question for you is tell us about your parents, please.
Okay, my parents. My father, his name is Winston Sambola. He's a great grandchild of John Sambola, the founder of Orinoco. He worked all his life as a doctor, and then he went to work on the tourist ship, on the cruise ship. So actually he's working right now. Since I was little, he's been working. My mom, her name is Celia Bratigam. She always at home, take care of us. Normally the function of the woman in the Garifuna communities, she take care of her kids. She used to do baking for a living. She does sewing, like she do clothes, Garifuna outfits and all of that. That's about it about my parents.
Okay, beautiful,
I
beautiful.
we are 8 siblings. I'm the 6th child to my family. I have 5 sisters of us and 3 brothers.
Wow.
Okay?
Thank you for
I'm
that.
number 6.
So you're number 6 out of 8, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you remember about growing up Garifuna in a Garifuna land where Garifuna language was fading out rapidly?
Renee, as I was growing up, I do know since I was born or since I was little, we know we are Garinago or we are Garifuna people on the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of embarrassing sometimes when somebody asks you what ethnicity you belong to. Probably you would say Garifuna. But then, to speak the language, you hook me right there. It's like, I know a few words. I cannot speak the language. So it was kind of embarrassing as I was growing up. But then something was inside of me, that I call courage, I was hoping that one day the sun would shine on us, Garinago, here in Nicaragua, that we would have the opportunity to learn our language. We're going to go deeper in the question, but some part of the time I think we were forced to be other people, sometimes.
Okay.
Because there are other black people here in Nicaragua, but they're called the Creole. And sometimes, feeling embarrassing in front of people, you kind of want to fit in where the majority goes. But we hold on courage because I do know we Garinago people have something we call inward motivation. And it's not easy for us to give up. We fight for what we want in life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well,
So
I
that's
got
what happened.
I got a comment from a very good friend of ours. She's American. I'm not gonna say her name, but she's a proud listener of the show every Wednesday, and she is not only Garifuna from the heart, but she's also an American who has spent quite a lot of time in Livingston, helping the children and learn the language. And that is just amazing. She says, "Thank you, Ronnie, for doing this interview tonight. We always wondered about Nicaragua and the Garifuna people." Wow, that's beautiful.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for her. Okay?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so now you are a former Garifuna queen as a child. Where you were a queen. So tell us about that. Don't be shy. Don't be
This,
shy.
I'm not shy, Ronnie. I'm not shy. I'm a little nervous, but it's normal. It's normal. So, a farmer Garifuna queen. I became a queen, Garifuna queen in 2000. I was really young. But even though I was young, I stand to represent my people. Every 19th of November, we celebrate the arrival of the Garifuna to Nicaragua, and we have visiting friends from all over the world. I got prepared for this event. I won as the queen. Without any doubt, I was bold enough to stand and give my speech about my Garifuna people. Being a queen, riding on a horse, representing my people was amazing for me. It was a wonderful experience. I would never forget it either, because even now as I grow up, I keep hearing the older people saying, like, remember, she was the queen. She was the Garifuna queen. And then the younger one, they're like, we want to be like her when we grow. So that motivates me, like, to keep on pushing for your people, because somebody's out there remembering something good about you. Somebody's out there seeing the light in you. So keep on pushing for your people. Defend them. Remember, you were a queen before. I'm not wearing the crown right now, but I'm still a Garifuna queen, no matter what. So I'm always there, ready to fight for my people, Ronnie. Because ever since I was little, this is what I'm doing. This is what I've been doing. And I'm not going to stop.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
I'm not going to stop.
That is great, man. You leave me speechless, girl. That's heavy.
I'm just being honest.
Yes, yes. Even though you grew up in a Garifuna community, what are some of the things that prevented you from learning how to speak your language?
Well, number one, the education system, as I mentioned before, we were kind of forced into becoming other people or other race of people here in Nicaragua. The education system at that time was only English and Spanish, so we adopted foreign languages.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, Creole come in, and then, like, nobody was looking over us. Nobody was looking over us. So we had to learn Creole, we had to learn English, poquito español, porque en the Orinoco, both Garinago people, we speak Creole and English. We speak Spanish if we have to speak Spanish. We don't really speak Spanish. Yes, we read in Spanish because in all the classes, they give us textbook in Spanish. The teachers would write the lesson in Spanish, and she would explain in English. You see? It's like that. The education system, number one. Second, discrimination, Ronnie, it was big. Our hair are dry. Most Garinagu got this big nose, you don't know, our color. And then the other group would always criticize us and try to discriminate us and bring us down. We lived from farming and fishing. They would always call us, like, give us names. The favorite fish, they would give us names and eating this fish, like, you only eat fish, you people only eat fish. They didn't know that's what makes us really smart. They don't know. They were ignorant to that. Anyway, discrimination. Our ancestors passed through a lot. They refused to teach us the language because they were afraid of us passing through the same thing that they went through, So that is some of the factors that prevent us from learning our language. They spoke the language, few of them, but they refused to teach us because they were saying now, like, I'm afraid my child go through all of this that I went through. Discrimination, nobody look on them like to offer them a job or to offer them like any help. So I guess they were afraid of that inside because they didn't know better either, and I really sorry about that. But we went through that for a long time, running. Well, maybe in my time I didn't really pass it that rough. Because even people try to discriminate me, I have something I always hold on. Yes, you try to discriminate me, but I'm smarter than you. That would always be my word I hold on to. Then when I said that to them, they would feel really embarrassing, and then they would stop. I always try to comfort myself with that word. Yes, I eat a lot of fish. Yes, my hair is dry, but you know what? I'm smarter than you, and that will let them shut up their mouth. I hold that as a defense, as a sword to defend myself, and those are some of the things that hold us back.
Wow, that is amazing, and you made me tear up a little bit, girl. That is heavy. That is heavy. Wow. Woo. Ooh, man. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live and direct from the studios in Long Beach, California. We are broadcasting live through www.lmbroots.com radio in the Bronx, New York, and every Wednesday, not tonight, through radiocentroamerica.com. But man, this is amazing. We have on the line the beautiful Grigita Sambula Bratigam, who is a Garifuna from the Orinoco community of Nicaragua. She is live from Managua, Nicaragua tonight as we speak over the phone. And thank you for listening. I want to send a big shout out to each and every one of you who is tuning in, especially Andrea Lopez Westby, Charles Mariano, Ronald Trinidad, Akio Martinez, the Wanarawa dancer, Mick Castillo, and many, many more. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for listening to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga every Wednesday. And we are so glad to have you here tonight, Grigita, sharing this wonderful experience. Very sad that it made me tear up a little bit, but it's just amazing the way you tell us. You're able to relate the story to us. Now, when the late Andy Palacio came to Nicaragua and found out that there was only one or maybe a few old men who understood what Andy was telling them in Garifuna, this particular old man responded in Garifuna. What has transpired in your homeland to bring back the language and culture?
Okay, Ronnie, very interesting question. And first, before I answer that question, I want to give out a big thanks to Andy Palacio. He came to Nicaragua not really in search of the Garifuna. He came during the alphabetization period in the 80s, 81st, around there, according to the history I pick up. Now, I said in my heart, God sent him over to Nicaragua, believe me. I'm not sure it seems like he came for alphabetization, but he was sent by God to rescue something that we were losing here in Nicaragua. After Andy came, he saw this young man, this handsome young man, by the name of Mr. Absalom. And he said to himself, like, this guy looks like a Garifuna man. And he said a word in Garifuna, and guess what? He got a response.
Wow.
And I imagine that light of something in Andy likewise, as well as the light of something inside of the people here in Orinoco. There were few of them, around 13 of them were speaking the language. But even though there were 13 of them in Orinoco, as small as it is, they really didn't know that there were so many of them speaking the language.
Wow.
So Andy gets to work, and when we started meeting up with all these older people, and he got to find out that these people speak Garifuna. Well, he went back, he left from Orinoco, and he started spreading the news over the place, to the government and all over. At that time, a man by the name of, his last name is Campbell. He was interested in this the way Andy confronted him with it. And he started right away paying one of the ladies to teach, but they were already up in age, so they didn't really know much to write and anything like that. But she would give the class just teaching, they would talk one to another. And that's what happened. The thing that light up the fire inside of the Garifuna people here in Nicaragua, because it was there already, but it was just in ashes and everything. The wood was like kind of wet, when the fire is dead. Mm-hmm. But then Andy become like the gasoline. He come and gasoline and matches at the same time. He light up something inside of us. That fire blaze because it was there already. And after that blaze, then there wasn't anything in this world that could have stopped the people from getting what they really want, from the culture, from the tradition, from all these good practices. And up until now, we're still fighting for what we want. And we have the culture, the dance, the food, the way of living, but this language, we got to get this running. We're missing this big time. So he came in as a messenger. He came in as an angel to light the fire inside the people that was going fading away.
Wow. Thank you for that. Yeah. That is amazing. Thank you for that piece of history. Now it's recorded. We have it right here on Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. This is your host, DJ Labuga, straight from the studios in Long Beach, California. We have on the line Miss Grigita Zambula Bratigam, who is live from Managua, Nicaragua, the representative of the Garifuna people, one of the many, of course. What do you think needs to happen to ensure that the Garifuna language and culture is never forgotten by someone, the Nicaraguan Garifuna?
Okay, very good question, and thank you once again, Ronnie. Mm-hmm. If people are not aware of the importance of the language, believe me, this won't pass on anywhere, okay? So first, people need to know or learn the importance of the language. Promoting this language, getting it or passing it on from us down to our children. It's not something I must learn and leave it right here with me. This thing needs to pass on. Spread it all over the place, wherever you go. But first, we need to know the importance of it. We need to know that our language is what identifies us as a people. After you learn that, then you're going to pass on the message like what I'm doing right now. I didn't really know that much of how important our language is to us. After I learned the secret, then what I do, I pass it on. The little I know, I pass it on. And that's how I think it's going to work. And after this pass on and contaminate the whole nation, then nothing is going to stop it.
Wow.
All right?
Very inspiring.
That's what I believe.
Very inspiring. El pueblo garífuna en Nicaragua está perdiendo poco a poco su idioma, el idioma que lo identifica. El esfuerzo por el rescate de su lengua ha sido un esfuerzo de los mismos pobladores, pero hace falta un mayor apoyo de las autoridades municipales, regionales y nacionales en rescatar y promover el idioma garífuna. ¿Qué piensa de esto? The Garifuna people in Nicaragua are losing their language and culture which identifies them. The effort to maintain their language and culture has been promoted by their own people. However, it is necessary that the local, state, and national government get involved and help. What do you think about that, Grigita?
Okay, that's an important question. Well, we start from home, and normally that's how we should start, from home, within the home. The good thing must start from home. And yes, we're promoting all of this about the language. But with your input and the input of the government, it will become an even more bigger thing to the nation. You see, if we get a message and, for example, I'm in a school, in a classroom, and I'm giving a class, I could explain the lesson this way. But if you want to come from California to explain the same lesson to my students, you know what? They see me every day, So if them become like normal, sometimes they're gonna pay attention, sometimes they're not gonna pay attention. But if you get involved in the thing and you come to give the same message to my students, guess what? Everybody gonna stay quiet and they're gonna listen to you. Full attention on you. They're gonna focus. Now that's what we need. We need the hands of the government to come in, to step in even more. And I'm not gonna say the government is not supporting. Yeah, it's there. But well, that's the next stage. We're not going to touch that right now. All right?
Yes.
We need people who are going to stand up and take what is there for us and put it to use. It's there. That means we must take advantage of it. Okay? So you stepping in, other organizations stepping in would make a big impact on this promoting of the culture and the language here in Nicaragua. By helping us to get projects that would benefit us here likewise. You know, we're limited in that. We're limited in that. And I could go on, like, starting with the Garifuna school here in Nicaragua. We have one Garifuna teacher, and we have 6 Garifuna communities. Could you imagine? It's a calamity. Because that one Garifuna teacher cannot be in the 6 communities at the same time. It's impossible. So because she's from Orinoco, then Orinoco gets the service. So it's logic, okay? So for example, that's what we're needing right now. And if the teachers are available, then the government needs to step up and give the space. Because we have right for that. It's just they're not people who are willing to step up that we know of. So then that one teacher is there. We do not have material. She's just there doing her best. And I must say thanks to Ms. Victorina Lopez. You know, she put out her best for her people. We need support like that. For example, that specific thing. Thank you, Ronnie.
Wow. Heavy. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live through lmbRoots.com radio in the Boogie Down Bronx and www.radiocentroamerica.com. That is on Wednesdays. Now tonight we only have lmbRoots.com radio as we are doing a rebroadcast. Actually, we rescheduled the show since last night. We had some technical difficulties and we could not bring you this wonderful interview with this wonderful and smart lady by the name of Grigita Sambula Bratica. Thank you for accepting my solicitation to interview. Now you were selected to be the recipient of a scholarship from Georgetown University, majoring in natural resource management in the state of Gresham, Oregon. Can you tell us about this journey and the struggles to succeed? Okay, I think we got disconnected. Let me see. Let me double check on my connection one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga.
Tani
Garifuna Music on Talk with DJ La Buga. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. Nicaragua, vemos ya. Okay, Gregita, we're back. We're back. This is Garifuna Music on Top with DJ La Buga. This is the wonderful music from Grupo H tonight. Yes, so we got to get back to the interview because we have such a wonderful guest tonight, Miss Gregita Sambola, all the way from Managua, Nicaragua, and she's from the Garifuna territory of Orinoco. Welcome back, Gregita.
Yes, Ronnie.
All right. Now let's move to you. Let's bring it to how you were able to come to the United States. Now you were selected to be the recipient of a scholarship from Georgetown University, majoring in natural resources management in the state of Gresham, Oregon. Can you tell us about this journey and the struggles to succeed?
Sure, Ronnie. And that's a very good question, exciting moment for me, as I could remember. In the year 2008, I remember I was in a foreign community. It's called Pearl Lagoon. I remember the day when the delegate of education called me and she said, Grega, she says, there is an opportunity for a scholarship. There are a lot of people who are applying for the scholarship, but I think it would be nice if you go to apply. At that time, I lived in a small community, Orinoco. You know what it is like living in a small community where papers are not up to date, number one. I did not have a register paper, like nowhere registered in Nicaragua. I was like an alien.
Wow.
I remember I was like, well, so I'm going to apply for a scholarship. I don't even have a birth paper to go and take out a cedula. I have nothing. I don't have any document. She was like, I think you should still apply. I said, you know what? True. But why you choose me to apply when I'm not even from this community? She started,
Wow.
she started to remember old stuff, like when I was a little child, she was like visiting the communities, and she saw the same initiative inside of me. So she said, that's the reason I called you. You can do it. I said, okay. I went and I applied for the scholarship. I remember there were like hundreds of students applying for the scholarship.
Wow.
Creole, from the Creole communities. I was the only Garifuna one among the crowd. Creole and Mestizo. So I got my name down and everything. That's how it started. They said you got to move to Managua because you have to do interviews and you need to do some exams. You need to check with the doctors and all of that. I was like, okay. Imagine Gregita coming to Managua. I cannot speak Spanish that well. Just imagine what I was passing through at that moment.
Wow.
Anyway, I didn't let that stop me or hold me back. I came to Managua. And we went through the process of interview, first session. I passed that one and I went back home. They're going to call me again. I came back to Managua. I made like 4 different trips to Managua. When I was like the last coming back, where are the other people? I was only seeing Mestizo people in front of me. I'm like, where are the other guys? They said, sorry, they didn't make it. I'm like, oh boy. That's again, that right there, Ronnie, and the audience tonight, that right there made me feel super special. Again, a Garifuna, one Garifuna from among this whole crowd of people stand up with the scholarship. I was like, okay. So they said, but you're not finished us yet. The visa we need to make the checkup with the doctor, which is almost coming to the last day. So don't get really excited as yet. I said, you know what? We're going to get the visa, and I'm a healthy person. I'm not sick. So I remember going to the doctor. And the doctor that checked up on me was he was from this foreign country far away. But I remember he said to me, wow. He said, the first person I ever get to meet that is so perfect in her body. I'm like, praise the name of the Lord and to the power ancestors. I know I'm not.
Wow.
That makes me feel really, really good running. And I remember after that, they took us far out of Managua. They gave us training, psychology training, and what we're going to face when we go to the day, what it is like. They was teaching us, psychologically preparing us.
Mhm.
And I remember this day, my coordinator said to me, she says, Grega, we need you to sing a song. I said, sing a song for what? She says, we're going to have representatives from the embassy here today, no, tomorrow. I'm like, representative from the embassy, what I got to do with that? There are like hundreds of mestizos. I'm the only black one among the crowd. Could you imagine? It's like you're asking me to sing a Spanish song when I don't even speak this language. I was like, okay, could somebody write the song for me? I'm going to learn it. The song they wrote for The
Wow.
song they wrote for me that night, I remember it was like tonight. 6 verses in Spanish.
Wow.
Spanish music. I was like, oh my God. But I love to sing.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn it. I didn't sleep that night. All night I was listening to the original song, getting the air of it, because I wasn't going to sing with anything. I was going to sing it just like that. I said, okay, I think I got the song ready for tomorrow, 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. I remember the day the team stepped up. I was like really nervous, kind of like how I'm feeling right now here, talking to the audience. So I was like, Gregita, what's wrong with you? You never came to stand up in front of anybody. Why are you feeling nervous? I went to the mirror and I talked to myself. And then I was like, okay, I think we're ready. They said, we're going to leave you almost to the last to present the song because we know that the song is going to touch the heart of people and they're going to give up the visa. I'm like, oh, so you guys are using me. Anyway, it was for my benefit too, okay? So it wasn't anything wrong. I remember that day I stood up and I sang the song. I sang the song from the bottom of my heart. It was very good running. And I went to apply for the visa. As I was there, normally they ask you crazy question like, you were smart, you can sing. If you get the opportunity in the States to say, would you stay? I said, for what? I would never give up my country for the States. I said that back to them. I know the trick. They use that, get us. And the guy was laughing when I was answering the question. And he was like, he passed that question and he went to another question and he passed, but he come right back to that same question again. He was like, if you get the opportunity, would you stay? I'm like, no. I said, I'm going for a scholarship.
Wow.
I'm going for a scholarship and I must be back in my country after 2 years. He was like, okay, welcome. And I was like, oh boy, I get it. I said, these people think I'm crazy. I'm smart. Anyway, that happened. I got the privilege to go to Portland and I studied in Gresham. I studied in Gresham at Mount Hope Community College. Major in natural resources, as you already mentioned. Was a very good experience running. The first day we reached, they said we're going to have a Miami project where all the different countries going to present some type of presentation they're going to do. But we need you to be master of ceremony. Well, At that time, I traveled with a little drum that my brother made for me, and my outfit, my Garifuna outfit. And I dressed in that, and I went. Ronnie, again, was the next moment where I feel like, this is awesome. Only black one among the crowd, they're using her for master of ceremony. First time, I was like, okay, I'm doing this. I did it with joy because that's what I love to do. I love to be around people. I love to do stuff. I love to interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
I did it. I stayed over there for 2 years. And guess what? There was an opportunity for me to stay, and I was like, no, I'm going back to my country. I'm not going to block my way out. No, I'm not going to do that because maybe in the future I want to come back. And if I just stay here, I won't be here legal. Okay? So at that time, I used my head. As young as I was at that time, I tried to focus on what I went there for. 2 years later in natural resources management, they said, okay, your 2 years is up. You have the access to come back. If you would like to, you completed. Well done, sir. That was my experience. I went there with a little bit of English. The grammar wasn't that perfect. But you know what? I get along with the people. The weather was so different. You know, in Portland, it rains every day. And when the sun is shining, it's burning you. So it's like, what's I into here? What's this? But the whole family that I live with, they said, Greg, what's wrong with you? Because in Nicaragua, it's hot. I say, yeah, it's hot, but it's humid. Here is hot and dry, so it's burning me up. True. The weather was different, but I call myself likewise a magnet. I adapter, I should say. That's a new word now. I adapt to anything. That's just me. I try to adapt myself to anything, anywhere I go.
Thank you so much.
I was like, I'm sorry?
No, thank you so much for sharing that wonderful story of your coming to America. That is wonderful. That is beautiful.
You're welcome, Ronnie.
Yes. Okay, Gregita, so we're going to take a little break. We're going to go to New York with Budari Palacios. She's going to give us the report that she does every week of what's going on in the Garifuna scene in New York. So let me hang up with you, and then I'll call you back in about 10 to 15 minutes so we can continue the interview tonight. How's that?
Sure, Ronnie. I'll wait for you.
Thank you so much. We'll call you right back, Gregita. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Garifuna Music on Top with DJ Labuga. We have on the line Miss Gregita Sambula Bratigam, all the way from Managua, Nicaragua, Honduras. We'll be right back with her as we welcome Miss Budari Palacios with a weekly report from New York. Okay. You are cordially invited to attend the 5th annual Garifuna International Indigenous Film Festival. May 26th through the 30th, 2016, Garifuna International Indigenous Film Festival. Location, 1416 Electric Avenue, Venice, California, at the Electric Lodge. Join us in celebrating indigenous cultures at the 5th annual Garifuna International Film Festival. For more information, visit www.garifunafilmfestival.com. Honor, respect indigenous cultures. Join us celebrating indigenous cultures. Ok, familia, ahora nos vamos hasta Nueva York con Budari Palacios de Budari Dance Company, con lo más reciente de lo que sucede en el ambiente social de la comunidad más grande fuera de Centroamérica, de Garifuna. Adelante, Budari Palacios, con tu reporte semanal. Llámate, ¿ah? Salud, Budari, salud, bienvenida esta noche. Si es que adelante. Llámate, ¿ah?
Hey,
Buitiguño, ¿cómo están todos? ¿Qué tal? Bueno, pues aquí yo como siempre desde Nueva York, tratándoles de dar un poquito de información. Bueno, mis amores, se les extrañó mucho el día de ayer, pero gracias a Dios ya estamos activos hoy. Bueno,
Ya estamos al aire,
quiero
ya
mandar
estamos
un
al aire.
especial... ¿Aló?
Ya estamos al aire, te digo.
Ok. Bueno, buenas noches a todos. Como siempre, pues mil gracias por hacerme parte de esta su familia. Espero que me estén escuchando bien. Bueno, pues estoy aquí en lo que es el área de Nueva York, pues dándole un poco de información, ¿verdad? Quiero empezar con lo que es la gran fiesta de gala de lo que es nuestra comunidad de Bajamar. Es una de las comunidades garífunas, ¿verdad?, que están localizadas en Honduras, litoral atlántico. Entonces, el patronato de Bajamar aquí en Nueva York, ellos van a tener una gran fiesta de gala, en el cual va a estar DJ Lito, ¿verdad? Y van a haber otra sorpresa. La admisión, la entrada va a costar $90. Antes del día, déjenme decirles, esto va a ser el 27 de febrero, de 10 de la noche a 3 de la mañana. Esto va a ser en lo que es Maestros Catering, en el 1703 de Bronxdale Avenue, Bronx, Nueva York, 10462. Para los que estén interesados en ir a esta gran fiesta de gala, pueden llamar a lo que es el 347-209-9216. Repito, el 347-209-9216, ¿verdad? Y pues aprovechando también de mandarle un gran saludo a lo que es Juventud Garífuna, que es una nueva organización de los muchachos que se encuentran aquí en Nueva York, de la comunidad garífuna de Bajamar, en el cual ellos están haciendo diferentes actividades para ayudar a su comunidad garífuna. Bueno, mis amores, aquí sigo informándole. Ustedes díganme, estoy express. Les cuento que este sábado, ¿verdad? Febrero 6, estará lo que es el Pre-Valentine Red Fair, ¿verdad? Es lo que es Chichambara Production. Ella va a tener una fiesta aquí que queda por Tercera Avenue. Eso se llama Social Catering Place. Estará lo que es Aurelio Martínez, Livaya Maraza, Legacy Gife, Eshen Pizón. Van a estar diferentes. Antes del 6, pues estaba costando lo que es $25. Y pues ya para lo que es el sábado, costará $30, pero todavía pueden llamar a lo que es a Ginger, pueden llamar a Ginger al 347-963-1824 porque todavía tienen para mañana, creo yo. Si llaman a ese número, pues imagino que ella ya les va a dar la información y si les da la rebaja de 25, son $5 menos, ya dura para una cerveza o una soda. Bueno,
Okay.
Mis amigos, les tengo un chiste medio.
Vamos a ver, adelante.
Bueno,
salud.
El cambio de clima.
Ajá.
Bueno, resulta que allá en un pueblo, ¿verdad? Había un hombre que se llamaba Armando el Curroyo, pero había un chino que era vecino de él. Y ustedes saben que los chinos casi no hablan un buen español. Entonces, todos los días que el chino encontraba a Armando a Curro, él le decía, buenos días, Culoyo. Buenos días, Culoyo. Entonces, el hombre, como él no le podía pronunciar curro hoyo, él le decía culo hoyo. Entonces viene el hombre y se molestó porque pasaban las semanas y el chino lo saludaba así. Bueno, finalmente viene el hombre y compra 2 perros. Entonces cada vez que venía el chino, buenos días, señor culo, le tiraba a los perros y el chino se asustaba. Y entonces en eso el curro, de repente cuando ya miraba que los perros iban encima del chino, pues él los llamaba y los metía al patio. Pues uno de esos días el chino se enojó y llama a la policía. Policía, necesito ayuda porque don culo me está tirando muchos pelos encima. Entonces, ¿cómo le dice el policía? Policía, estoy cansado porque el señor culo me está tirando mucho pelo encima. Entonces le dice el policía, bueno señor, usted lo que tiene que hacer es cortárselo con una navaja. Es lo que cada vez que quelo, don culo lo llama y se van los pelos.
Criminal. Tremendo, bravo, Budari. Otro, te has mandado. eso te trae un poquito de calor para ese clima tan frío que está en Nueva York ahorita, ¿verdad?
Bueno, les cuento que esta es la semana de la Virgencita de Suyapa de
Ajá.
Honduras. Esta
Claro que sí.
semana nuestra comunidad garífuna está haciendo en diversas iglesias, están celebrando lo que es el Día de la Virgencita de Suyapa, que si no me equivoco me parece que fue ayer. Pues les cuento que este sábado 6 en la iglesia de San Simón Stock Street, eso queda aquí en el Bronx, allá en el Bronx, que yo estoy aquí en Brooklyn, queda allá en el Bronx, en el 2191 de Valentine Avenue, en el Bronx, Nueva York. Ellos estarán celebrando lo que es la misa para la Virgen de Suyapa, y después de ahí pues ellos pasan a una área de la iglesia, creo que es como un gimnasio, y se estará presentando pues Budari Dance Company, ¿verdad? Eso, así que los invitamos a todos a que vengan a la iglesia de San Simón Stock, aquí por Valentine, que eso está como entre Grand Concord y Webster, por ahí. También el día 7 está la otra iglesia que estará celebrando la misa también para la Virgencita de Suyapa, ¿verdad? Yo creo que yo ya les había hablado eso la semana pasada, de lo que es un Prometra, estará haciendo la misa el día domingo 7 de febrero. Y después, pues ellos también tienen un evento sociocultural en el cual también tendrán diferentes artistas culturales. También estará el grupo Chillosa Satuyé, me parece que va a estar Nino Arzú y otras diversidades también de lo que es los artistas. Esta semana también me parece que aquí en la iglesia que está aquí en Brooklyn también ellos van a tener, ¿verdad? Lo que es la celebración a la Virgen de Suyapa. O sea, este fin de semana o esta semana es dedicada a lo que es la Virgen de Suyapa, ¿verdad? La Prometra Garífuna, ellos van a estar en lo que es la iglesia San Martín of Tours, que está en el 664 de Grove Street, Bronx, Nueva York. Entonces pueden llamar al 347-591-1673. 347-591-1673. Esta semana, bueno, la Virgen de Suyapa tiene unas grandes historias allá en Honduras. Casualmente yo estaba chequeando en YouTube, como todo lo que quieres buscar, encuéntralo en YouTube. Así que les aconsejo que puedan entrar a YouTube. Que entren a lo que es YouTube y bueno, ahí van a encontrar lo que es la historia de la Virgen de Suyapa. Pues aquí les cuento que el clima hace 2 días ha estado muy bueno, no ha estado tan frío, entonces pues ahí vemos que por mí, de mi parte, pues a mí me gustaría que todo el invierno sea como estos 2 últimos días, porque no nos hemos estado, como quien dice, frizándonos todo el cuerpo. Así que ustedes, mis amores, cuéntenme qué hay de nuevo por allá por California, que yo siempre los veo bien activos a todos ustedes.
Aquí siempre luchando todos los días. Buenas noticias para toda la comunidad garífuna de Nueva York, en especial a toda la comunidad garífuna que sirven en las fuerzas militares de los Estados Unidos, ya sea el Army, the Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, cualquiera que sea las fuerzas de verdad de donde muchos de los garífunas sirven a este país. Estaremos llevando a cabo las clases de garífuna online a través del internet con profesores calificados directamente de Belice, de Guatemala, de Honduras, que estaremos presentando a través del internet, así como lo hacemos con este show. Así es de que vamos a llegar hasta el rincón de los hogares más remotos, estén en Corea, en Afganistán, en Irak, en Irán o donde sea. Ahí estaremos llegando con las clases de garífuna para que la gente pueda, si no aprender garífuna, a mejorar su vocabulario o tal vez a entender un poco más de lo que es la estructura de la gramática garífuna. Así es de que esa es la buena noticia que tenemos, que estaremos presentando a través de estos canales de lmbroots.com y de Radio Centroamérica. Budari, gracias.
Eso está excelentísimo. Me encanta de que lo que es, de que muchísima gente asisten en Chile, en Patagonia, van a aprender lo que es el bello lenguaje garífuna. Ida Viña, ábale buguya. Imagínate un chino contestándote, ábale buguya, ¿qué te sale? ¡Ay! ¡Hurra, Cassandra! Claro que
¿Cómo,
sí.
cómo
Entonces
dices
yo
tú?
creo que
¿Cómo dices tú? Pollito con papas. ¿Cómo es?
oh, en chino.
No,
No,
¿cómo
que yo
no?
me imagino un chino que tú le dices, Ida Viña, y el chino te dice, ápale bucuya, ¿qué te hace letia bucuya? Bueno, mire, la cosa, a mí me gusta porque yo creo que los años vienen y las otras generaciones también vienen. Entonces es muy importante que las futuras generaciones sepan dominar lo que es el lenguaje garífuna, estén empapados en quiénes son, para que así ellos puedan seguir dejando ese legado. Porque imagínense qué va a pasar dentro de 100 años, cómo va a estar nuestra comunidad garífuna. ¿Se irá a hablar todavía el idioma garífuna? ¿Se seguirá bailando bangidi? ¿O ya en esos tiempos van a estar bailando el raspe o yo no sé qué otra? Entonces es muy importante, los felicito que ustedes, es que ahorita todo es raspe, raspe,
Es cierto,
raspe.
es cierto. Ajá.
Sí, muchos muchachos que también vienen de nuestros países. No lo estoy diciendo que todos, pero algunos se sienten avergonzados. Dice, ay, no, yo no soy, y este negrito, ¿qué le pasa? Dice, y esa negrita, ¿qué le pasa? Ay, no, aquí estamos en Meriga. No, 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 no. Entonces es una situación errónea de mucha gente de que aquí en los Estados Unidos el que salva su cultura, habla su lenguaje, es súper admirado por los gringos, por los meriganas. Así que es muy importante pues que aprendamos a hablar garífuna, entre ellos yo, porque cuando llegué a este país yo estaba media turbia, pero ahorita estoy como la India María, ni de aquí ni de allá. Pero bueno, aquí vamos dándole. Así que
Wow.
me mandan la información para que yo también entre a las clases con ustedes y también esté a lo que es al día. ¿Por qué no? Uno
Claro que
llega
sí.
al cajón y todavía le faltó por aprender.
Wow.
Bueno, mis amores, les cuento que también es que este 6 de febrero va a estar Candelita Pollito Asado aquí en Nueva York. El patronato de Río Tinto van a tener su gran feria patronal, así que saludos para la comunidad garífuna de Río Tinto, ¿verdad? Así que ellos van a tener también su gran feria patronal en honor también a lo que es la Virgen de Suyapa, ¿verdad? Esto va a ser en el 1211 de Brook Avenue en Bronx, Nueva York. Pueden llamar al 1646-945-9878. 1646-945-9878. En este evento va a estar lo que es un talento, van a estar dos talentos artísticos, me parece que más de dos talentos artísticos, como lo que es este muchacho Pichi. Él es un cantautor, ¿verdad? Tiene su banda, él creo que no vive aquí en Nueva York y él ha tenido que estar viniendo a ensayar a Nueva York para prepararse para este evento y pues dejar un buen trabajo en lo que es Patronato de Río Tinto. Y pues Nino Arzú, lo que es Nino Arzú, pues ya sabemos el talento de lo que es Nino Arzú. Cuando Nino Arzú se para en el escenario, pues todo el mundo empieza a emocionarse y a darle coro. Entonces, mis amores, vamos con lo que es nuestra querida amiga y hermana garífuna, lo que es Waldina. Waldina, ella va a tener, como les dije, va a tener un crucero. A mí me gustaría ir a ese crucero, pero lo que pasa es que tengo un poco de problemas cuando se mueve el barco, se me mueve también el estómago, los riñones, el pescuezo, todo. Pero bueno, esto, ay Dios mío, esto va a ser el sábado, julio 2 del 2016. Eso es Independence Day, ¿verdad? Así que ya pueden ir comprando sus tickets, son $60. De aquí a julio ya los 60 pesos ya los tienen. Pueden llamar a Waldina al 1646 351-6400. Lo volví a repetir para que nos veamos todos ahí en el barco. El 1646-351-6400. Y así ella le va a dar todos los detalles de lo que es este crucero. Entonces, no podemos olvidar lo que es, lo que está haciendo la organización garífuna Afro Latino Entertainment, ¿verdad? Lo que son los premios garífunas este marzo 12 a las 7 p.m. Va a estar, pues nosotros le decimos aquí Houston, que la mayoría de la gente conoce dónde queda Houston. Esto va a comenzar a lo que es a las 7 de la noche, así que yo de antemano pues le deseo mucha suerte, ¿verdad? Finalmente pues todos somos garífunas, todos representamos una sola cultura y es bonito que se prevalezca, ¿verdad? Los valores artísticos de cada uno de nuestra gente bella, que cantan, que bailan, que son DJ, que tienen casas de música, que crean ritmos, bueno, ¿verdad? Entonces los invito a todos este 12 de marzo, perdón. Y también, pues ya también les dije que está lo que es la cena de gala, que se llama el Black Tie After Party, que va a ser también Maestros Catering. Ustedes pueden entrar a la página de José Francisco Ávila, pueden entrar a la página de todo el equipo que él contiene. Yo creo que ya están los tickets online. Ahí lo pueden chequear en Facebook para que ya vayan comprando sus tickets, tanto para lo que es Hostos y para lo que es el evento después de las premiaciones de nuestros artistas garífunas. ¿Qué tal me quedó? Ya estoy como, ya vamos bien, vamos bien.
Excelente reporte. Tremendo, Budari Palacios.
Así mismo. Bueno, mis amores, pues estoy muy feliz de que, bueno, me siguen tomando en cuenta y pues aquí estamos al pie del cañón. Casualmente estaba haciendo unos videos donde también estaba diciéndole a la gente de la idea que tú me diste, de que todo aquel que tenga un evento y desee donar 1 o 2 entradas, pues se comuniquen con nosotros y así ellos puedan jalar mucho más gente a sus eventos. Dicen que perdiendo es como se gana.
Es cierto.
Así que mis amores, ¿cuánto tiempo nos queda?
Bueno, ya estamos en la hora 0, así es de que adelante, Budari.
Bueno, mis amores, los quiero mucho, los adoro y así que esperamos conectarnos lo que es el próximo miércoles. Así que no pierdo las esperanzas de ir hasta California con todo y Budari Dance Company.
Claro que sí, aquí lo vamos a tener. Espérame que me gane la lotería o vamos a ir a robar un banco por ahí para poder pagar los pasajes de ¿cuántos son? 20, 25 miembros del grupo, ¿no? ¿Cuántos son?
No, bueno, más o menos ahí, vamos a bajarle para que se alcance todo lo que son los pasajes.
No, hombre, es pasaje, es hoteles, comida, es transporte. Bueno, y lo vamos a hacer con amor, porque lo tenemos que traer para acá, no importa lo que cueste.
Gracias. Algún día nos veremos, como dicen en English, face to face.
Gracias, Budari. Feliz noche y saludos a toda la familia y a todo el Budari Dance Company que están allá en Nueva York.
Gracias, mis amores. Buituguño, sayonara, como dijo el chino. Sayonara.
Ayo. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Okay.
Buituguño.
Okay. Buituguño.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have more of the interview with Grigita Sambula Bratigam tonight, straight from Managua, Nicaragua, in Central America. So we'll be right back right after this song. And thank you once again for the wonderful report from Budari Palacios, all the way from the Bronx, Boogie Down Bronx. Kemotia. Aha.
Warihi bayatyanyi Ayahi diyanyi Eiba kwanyade Yilmote widi Warihi bakudeyi Dale widi tida mingini Apuchu kudi Dale widi tida busu Ayahi kudeyi Wede aganya wege Warihi bayatyanyi O aya hedi yanyi Yelo mote widi Wari bayat yanyi Ane me fudini Na chuluru nubiye Aya hi fudini Ei pa kwanya dugu Alwa haramudu Daleni de bubeye Ane hi wa fudini Wina motinya Nyubaridinya
Okay, welcome back, Griguita, ¿cómo estás?
Todo bien, gracias.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. We're almost out of credits, so we gotta use up the time that we have to finish this interview. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. So you were telling us about being selected as the recipient of a scholarship from Georgetown University. So you moved to the United States. You spent 2 years. Now, when you came to the United States, you came into contact with the largest Garifuna community of New York. Can you share with us about that encounter and your interactions with these people?
Yeah, that was the next big moment for me because it was the time when I was open up to the world. I have the privilege to share with you guys, saying like right now, it was an interview. I remember it was with Martin Bermudez. And the most surprising thing during that interview was nobody did know there was a small community by the name of Orinoco exists in the world. Everybody heard about Bluefield as the Garifuna community. And that was the moment where I had the privilege or the opportunity to bring Orinoco on the scene because I was like, where did you guys get this information from? Orinoco, even though it's small, it's still the Garifuna community. We cannot ignore that. That's the truth. That's the fact, you know? So I had the privilege to share that. And that was one of the things I remember the most that I did on that interview. And since then, I've been in contact with all of you guys. So it was for a purpose or for a reason. I got in contact with all the Garifuna people out there.
Yes, beautiful. Can you lower the computer volume a little bit? We're getting a little bit of feedback.
Sure, I just did.
Okay, good. So now let's move on to the next question. So you are currently living and working in the capital of Nicaragua, Managua. What do you do there, and what were you working as before this job?
Okay, so I have a year now since I've been living here in Managua. Before I came to Managua, I was living in Pearl Lagoon. I was a high school teacher. I was given the class of natural science, English, and coexistence. So kind of like civica moral. I was teaching there in Pearl Lagoon at one of the private schools that we have. After certain things happened, then I renounced from the job and I came here to Managua. So now I'm working at one of the largest call centers in Nicaragua. It's called Saitel. You can find it online. Saitel, I work in the sales department. Okay, Ronnie, I'm the audience. I work in the sales department where I do international hotel reservation. That's what I do. Since I came here to Managua, well, our ancestors have been with me, and God has been there. Likewise, I've been really successful in my job. I came, and the next thing that makes me really proud is like, I didn't even have long when I become one of the top agents on the floor, getting gifts and presents and all of that, commission from my job. So I'm really comfortable with my job. It's not hard. It's easy. And well, here I am right now.
So how have you adapted to the life of the capital of Managua? It is a fast-paced life, and it's totally different from where you come from.
Well, you know what is the good part of it? When you know where you come from, you can deal with anything. And I do have, even though I live from my community, I never forget the good moral value. I take that with me wherever I go. Okay? So even though I'm in Managua, I don't really think it makes much difference over my life because I'm the same Grequita in Managua. Wow. It doesn't really make any big difference over me. Yes, I know it's a big city, but I go to work and then I come home after that. It's not much to do in Managua. It's not much to do well from my end because I'm here to work. I'm here to work. So that's it.
Wow. Itarala to that. Amen. Thank you for that. Beautiful.
Welcome.
What are your plans? What are your plans for the future, Grigita?
Well, my plan for the future is to work as close as I can with my people. I do know they have a great belief in me and they look up to me as a great leader. And I don't want to disappoint my people in no moment. So my plan in the future is to work as close as I can to build leaders. Not just to work for the people, but to build leaders who will speak for the rights of the people. So when I'm not around tomorrow, there is somebody else who can pick up the task. Because it's not an easy thing. Believe me, it's not easy, but it's possible. All right?
Yes.
I know I will be a very successful woman in the future, willing to help people, but I will stick around with the Garifuna people for some time.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Now, my last question before we let you go is, do you have a special message? A special message for our beautiful women in the audience?
Before I go to the special message, just let me say this really fast, like really quick. I have some people all over in Cayman Islands, in Bluefield, here in Managua, some special friends that I invited to be in tune tonight. I want to send a special greeting to them, okay? Special greeting from Grigita with a whole lot of love. Now, the message to the young queens out there is focus on what is important in life. Focus on the things that will make you successful. Turn your back on the negative part of it because, yes, there are some negative things out there. But remember, we're focusing on what is going to make us successful in life. Do not stick around negative people because they will hold you down from achieving your goals in life. Okay? Stick around people who can become an asset to your success. That's it. Thank you very much, Ronnie.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the beautiful and wonderful message from Grigita Sambula Bratigam, all the way from Managua, Nicaragua. She's originally from the Garifuna town of Orinoco, and who has given us this wonderful interview. She has motivated me. She has given me that strength to continue to do this show. She not only given me the strength, but she was the only woman at this point that has touched my heart, that I had to spread some tears because of her message. I think it's beautiful, the fact that she takes her Garifuna-ness so seriously to the point that, hey, she will give her life to continue to be Garifuna. Thank you so much, Grigita Sambula, for allowing us to come into your life tonight.
Ronnie, just before we leave the line, I have Sasamu on the line from the league. He is listening. He's in tune. I want to say greetings to Sasamu over there. And Nardis Herbert in Bluefield, she was like really waiting for us since last night. And Sasamu, likewise, he was like, I'm waiting. I'm like, I'm sorry, technical issue. But thank you for being in tune to the audience. Thank you for being in tune. Love you all from Nicaragua. Blessings. And you have a wonderful night, okay?
Ayo, Buitiguño. Ayo, take care.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. We're live and direct from the studios in Long Beach. And this is your weekly radio show. Next week, don't forget to tune in. We have another special guest right here, 7 p.m. Wednesday, from 7 to 9 Pacific Standard Time. Que motea? Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga.
Alright, this is how I'm telling emotional. Yeah, how you begin? Listen to it now. Listen to the real thing. I am the mountain, the green and the grass. Give me a photo. I am the mountain, the green and the grass. Give me a photo. I am the mountain, the green and the grass. Give me a photo. I am the mountain, the green and the grass. Give me a photo. Oh no 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 no. Give me a photo. Oh no 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 no. Give me a photo. Oh look, man, look for me. Because the girl, the sweet as she look. The man, the girl, the sex as she look. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. Haba, 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 classical music, boy, for a man. I am the mountain, the green and the grass. Give me a I am the mountain, the green and the grass. Give me a I am the mountain, the green and the grass. Give me a I am the mountain, the green and the grass. Give me a Hikabonari kita di mirabu. Oh, hikabonari kita di mama. Oh, hikabonari kita tena. Hikabonari kita di mama. Oh, something very nice dear. Oh, something very sweet dear. Ay, dito mama. Ay, dito nada. Ay, dito dito. Oh, something very nice dear. Oh, something very sweet dear. Ay, dito mama. Ay, nade. Number one in that reggaeton. big elevator. Small man behind, small man behind, small man behind, small man behind. Bang, 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 bang. Look, bang, 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 bang. Ay, 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 ay. Bang, 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 bang. Look, bang, 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 bang. Ay, vale. Ay! Alukan mo di Tuma Veronica. Alukan mo di Tuma Veronica. O pimete, carale, pimele, carale. Haba, 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 Rhythm. Got it. Give me rhythm. Give me. We knew 91.
You are cordially invited to attend the 5th annual Garifuna International Indigenous Film Festival, May 26th through the 30th, 2016. Garifuna International Indigenous Film Festival. Location 1416 Electric Avenue, Venice, California, at the Electric Lodge. Join us in celebrating indigenous cultures at the 5th Annual Garifuna International Film Festival. For more information, visit www.garifunafilmfestival.com. Honor, respect indigenous cultures. Join us celebrating indigenous cultures.
cha, ochande, tumbo, e bomba. We kudalanya wana chaga libanya, 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 yamisunga ololo, yamisunga ololo, yamisunga ololo, yamisunga ololo, yamisunga ololo, yamisunga ololo, que suene watamuage. Yamisunga ololo, yamisunga ololo, yamisunga ololo, yamisunga ololo, yamisunga ololo, wafaya nyanye begaye. Wafaya ganya be baira, halagwati yagume, yagana, ragubeti yagumai yagana, weyati lagubanya yagana, tabuya bagu, I do the way gambatiwa, 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 Quilombo. Wafaya ganya begaye. Wafaya ganya be baira. Alagwati yagume. Yagana. Ragubeti yagumai yagana. Weyati lagubanya yagana. Tabuya bagu. I do the way gambatiwa. 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 Que suenen mis timbales. I do the way gambatiwa. 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 I
set up Ganto. Who the Joe, baby? Sweet baby, wicked. Joe grind. Hey, in the house, around the table, in the chair, he use the candle, under your bed, and through the window, in your yard, and in your car. In the house, around the table, in the chair, he use the candle, under your bed, and through the window, in your yard, and in your car. This boy got stage fever, and he no got no visa. If he go up and down, if he go up and down, right now he dey high, and he nah go down. So you better call the doctor, call the doctor. 'Cause he nah go down. You better drink something, make you sweat it out. Drink something, make you sweat it out. Hey, boo, my world. Mr. America, don't be mean. You just wanna live the American dream. Funny band, they say bye. 30 years later, it still say bye. Will you try to be a good boy? At least make it fly in the sky. Even the gentleman make you feel like space. Hiding in my suitcase. This boy got stage fever, and he no got no visa. If he go up and down, right now he dey high, and he nah go down. So you better call the doctor. 'Cause he nah go down. You better drink something, make you sweat it out. Drink something, make you sweat it out. We have a safe run. This boy got stage fever, and he no got no visa. If he go up and down, right now he dey high, and he nah go down. So you better call the doctor. 'Cause he nah go down. You better drink something, make you sweat it out.
This has been your weekly radio show, Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. Thank you for spending 2 hours of quality time with the best weekly radio show on lmbroots.com radio and radiocentroamerica.com. We'll see you next week as we bring the best of Garifuna performers, musicians, and special guests. Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga is off the air. We'll see you next week.